This video shows how to use and leverage work order templates. But before I go into much about what a work order template is, let's see how they're used. I'm sitting on the home page and go to create a work order. There are a couple of projects to choose from here. I will choose the on-demand pricing project. Search for a site and pick a site. And we get down to the final step to create our work order. But notice this line right here, template. Template says install. It turns out that the on-demand pricing project has a template called install, and we're using this template to create the work order. I'm going to go ahead and create the work order. When we get into the work order, we notice that we have some statuses here, and the initial status the work order starts in is planning. And if we look at the Schedule and Assign tab, I see I have an activity for install. How did that get there? Well, the way they got there, both the starting status and this activity were through the template. The template defines this activity and the template defines this status. So through the template, we actually define what activities a work order will have. Let's take a look at this. If I click here on the on-demand pricing project link, and go to the Setup tab, I'll find an area called Work Order Templates. And notice here, there's one called Install. Let me click on that. And you'll see that the install template starts out in the planning status. And if I go to the Schedule and Assign, there is an install activity available to us. This means that any work order created in the on-demand pricing project will get this activity. Let's create a couple more activities just to see what their effect is. I'm going to create one called staging. And I'm going to put a T- duration on this of 30 days. So this means 30 days from our scheduled install date, our staging should occur. Also notice that this activity is required for all work orders. Click on Save. And I will create one more activity called an ad hoc activity, and I'll just put this on as a revisit. So notice the tag shows that we have an ad hoc activity, and we have staging and install now. If I click on Finished and go back to the work order I was just in, which I can click on Finished again, go back to the work order, notice now we have staging and install activities. Previously we just had staging, but because we changed the work order template, now we have an install activity. So you're probably getting the idea here, but any work order that I create in the system will have this schedule. So here's work order 306. These two activities are the same as work order 304. Notice now, since we have an ad hoc activity, I have the Add Ad Hoc Item button. And if I click on this, I can choose a revisit activity to add to my work order. So in this work order, 304, we have a revisit activity because I just added it at the work order level. But if I go to 306, then we do not. And if I go to a different project, or if I'm under a different template within the same project, I can have a different set of activities as well. From this, you can see how the activity controls the assignment. Let's take another look at how we can assign from the template to affect all work orders. So back to our template. Our staging activity is going to be assigned to a particular person in this project. I choose the activity staging, and I click the Assign button, and the Assign Resources dialog shows. There are two tabs, Search for Technicians, of which we have none right now, and Search Internal People. I'm going to assign this to Curtis Blankenship. A dialog comes up that tells me that assignments for non-ad hoc items, which is what we're working on, propagate to all work orders derived from the template and removes any existing assignments. I'm going to propagate that change. So now, Blankenship, if I go look in my work orders, back to the work order, Blankenship you see is assigned to the staging activity in 306, and if I go to 304, he's also assigned at the staging activity in 304. So you can see how templates are used to help initialize new work orders as well as control work orders after they've been created in terms of what activities they reveal.